non-Indian viewpoints. I've discussed this with a number of them, and they get pretty upset with the fact that heretofore they were calling Indians, they're too lazy to work, they're too lazy to do this, they sit in, they get, doled out federal programs, you name it. Okay. Now, and then, here's something they know how to do, they're good at it, they like doing it, it's giving them a good income, it is providing a fish on the market to all residents in the state of Michigan. And this is pretty upsetting. And it's going to take a lot of doing to get a good resolution to the problem.
The late Fred Hatch was the one that started this tribe back in the 1950s or a little bit right in through there. I didn't come involved until the early 60s when the tribe didn't have, I don't think we had 200 members in the 60s, early 60s. And all at once they asked me to come to the Sioux because they were going to have elections. So I went. I think that was about 1964. To my surprise, I was elected to the board of directors of the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians. It wasn't called the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indians then, it was called the Sault Ste. Marie Tribe of Chippewa Indian and their heirs. We used to have meetings up at Eureka Street, up to the late Fred Hatch's on Eureka Street. Meet in his kitchen table, drink coffee, and talk about how we were going to become federally recognized. So it was decided that the only part that we could really control would be the Upper Peninsula. So we divided it up into units. I think we had about 5 units. Munising would be a head, Manistee would be a head, Hessel would be a head, St. Agnes, and the Sioux.
And the people, we said, well, we finally did it. You know, it's there. We couldn't believe it. You know, we had the papers and all the everything down. And then that was just the beginning, because then we had to have a board of directors. It was just like the, you know, like a chairman, had its elected chairman and the board of directors. An attorney was hired, because we didn't know, you know, really what to do from one step to the next. Make sure that was all done right. Got an attorney to help us, and we had to have a building, and we bought this little, it was a little concrete block garage down on Greenough Street. And there was no heat in it, no walls or anything, just a concrete building. We took donations of chairs, desks, everything. And I remember Fred Hatch and I would go down there on the weekends, and we painted it so that it would all look like this. We had gray and green and black and white. But he painted it, and meanwhile, we talked about what we were going to do next. We were talking about the treaties that were signed and were never honored by the government. And so we figured that if we could get somebody educated enough to come back and make the government keep those treaties, honor them.
My mother, that's Louise McCoy, and Fred Hatch started that, investigating all that. Things to do with the direct. Yeah, I remember that. I was home there, and my mother, I know she had boxes of little cards that she typed up of the relations and who they belonged to, or, you know, in that Durant role, apparently.
Well, the guys were working over in Sugar Island, Murray's, and I'm trying to think, some of the gardeners and some of the guys over there were working at it pretty hard. I was working pretty hard as a farmer yet, and I stayed here, and that was about all I ever did. When I was on the county supervisors, county commission, I was chairman of that for a number of years. And a friend of mine was the chairman of the finance committee. I remember Jerry Peters. He eventually was the mayor of the city for a long time. And this was when the federal government was giving out assistance for certain areas that they could better themselves. And I remember Jerry and I tried hard to get a bridge built just to go up the Shunk Road. They had a terrible old trashy bridge. And the city fathers would never even put a bit of gravel. Well, they did. They grudgingly did a little bit. Jerry and I tried to divert some federal funds to that. I as the chairman, he was chairman of the finance committee. Then the DNR stepped in, which was in the conservation department. And we had to have studies, and of course eventually we lost that. I do remember trying very hard, the two of us, to get that done. Eventually we diverted some money to the guys when they finally got a little headquarters there on Greenlaw Street in Sioux. And that's just about the time that Jerry, I guess he got off the commission, and we kind of got over that. But I remember trying anyway. And we did divert a little, but it was just a start. People really weren't, I don't think they ever felt that the tribe would get together, that people would get together and really do something.
So then we all got to sit around there, and after a couple of meetings, we said, how are we going to refer back to what we done the meeting before if we don't have meeting minutes? Well, somebody had to take the minutes. Well, nobody wanted to take the minutes because it involved a lot of writing and so forth. Anyway, we decided we better hire somebody. Now, this would be the first person that the tribe hired that paid before we were federally recognized, and her name was Beverly Bouchard. She was in high school, and we paid her $5 a meeting to come and take the minutes. And she'd take the minutes and type them all up, and then she would send us all a copy. So after that, whenever we went to a meeting, we had the minutes.
A lot of people are looking for handouts, and in our tribe, especially, we provide a job. We provide everyone the opportunity to better himself and their self and our whole group as a whole. And it's really been great. You see pride in the community now, in the tribal unit. That's pretty darn good. Sure, we have the casinos. We're smart enough to organize the casinos and get them rolling. People like to be entertained, and that's as old as the Bible, maybe older than that. I mean, people like to have entertainment. So we've provided that. But in the revenues, we've also provided for ourselves and our people and everyone else around. We haven't discriminated as a tribe. We've given everyone the opportunity to work with us and for us if they wish. If you come in there as an Irishman and you want a job, or a Scotchman, and you're qualified, you'll get a job with the tribe. You shouldn't be given preference because you're not a tribal member, but I mean, we're all equal, and I think that's, it's just done a lot. I think it's been good for the country, good for the area, good for the community, and good for the individual.
The vision that I have is happening now. It's happening now. A continuous growth for economic development, a continuous growth for our circles, because that in itself is a learning situation where people sit and share what happened a long time ago and how the tribe evolved. And we have to let them know that, because there are people that it's grown so fast, they don't know, except for what their paycheck is being signed by the Sault Tribe. They don't know anything about what the Sault Tribe is. Some of the things that I hear, like the president talking about family unity, we've always had it. Cooperation in the communities, we've always had it. And it's just amazing. They're just beginning to find out about it. But we've always had it. We are a special people. Everyone that ever wrote about us in their books, in history, we are unique. And in the dictionary it says one of a kind. We are one of a kind. There is no other race or government that's like ours. And it has to swing back. The pendulum is swinging back. And we are in charge because of the self-determination that we've decided that this is where we're at, this is what we're going to do, and this is what we want to do.